The monthly cost of driving a car depends on the number of miles driven. Lynn found that in May, her driving costs were $380 for 480 miles, and in June, her cost was $460 for 800 miles. Assume that there is a linear relationship between the monthly cost C of driving a car and the distance X driven. Find a linear function C that models the cost of driving X miles per month. Draw a graph of C. C is a linear function that we found in part A. What is the slope of this line? C. At what rate does Lynn cost decrease for every additional miles she drives? This is a linear model. A linear equation is what we need to find for part A. Since the monthly cost C depends on the number of miles X driven, for this linear relationship, X is the independent variable. It indicates the number of miles, and C is the dependent variable. It is the dollars amount. In May, Linz drove 480 miles and it cost her $380. We obtained the first point. So we plot the x and the y coordinate. In June, Lynn drove for 800 miles and it cost her $460. We plot the second point. To find a linear function, we only need 2 points, and there they are. The first point is x equals 480, the x coordinate, the independent variable, the number of miles, and the y coordinate is 380. For the second point, the x coordinate is 800, and the y coordinate is 460. And those are the 2 points that we will need to find the equation of the line. We're looking for the equation y equals mx plus b. Specifically, we're looking for c equals mx plus b, where c is the cost in dollars and x is the number of miles driven. To find the slope m, we need to find the change in y over the change in x. And so the slope m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if we were to work this out, we will get 0.25 exactly. This is the slope. Now that we found the slope, we will update the equation. Y equals 0.25x plus b. And again, remember that we will need to replace y with c because c is the dependent variable in this case. To find b, we use any given point. When y is 380, the corresponding x is 480. This will allow us to isolate b. b is 380 minus 0.25 times 480, and this will be 260. And so the equation of the line is c equals 0.25x plus 260. This is the linear function that we will need for part A, where x is the number of miles and c is the driving cost. When we find the equation, we might use y and x, but for the input for the correct answer, we will need to use the variable indicated in the problem. In this case, X and C. For part B, is also to draw the graph of C. We plot 2 points already. To complete the graph, we just simply connect the 2 points to obtain the line. And the slope of this line is m that we found, 0.25. What does it mean? Remember that the slope is the rate of change, so this is 0.25 over 1, which is 1 over 4. But in a word problem, we want to use the decimal and 1 in the denominator. The change in y over the change in x, therefore the unit is dollars on the top, and x at the bottom is the number of miles. This means that for each additional mile, the cost will go up by 25 cents. Part C, at what rate does Lynn's cost decrease for every additional mile she drives? The cost would only go up in this case. Notice that the slope is positive. The cost only goes up. By how much? $0.25 per mile. So for each mile that Lynn is driving, she will spend $0.25 more. Again, $0.25 more for each additional mile.